Hello, welcome to day 31 of the Holistic Fast. Today is about giving and receiving. I chose this backdrop today of the yin yang symbol to represent this topic of giving and receiving. You can imagine this two-dimensional symbol in 3 dimensions and it moving. So the black dot that you see beside my head is coming out and going, filling and going back into the other side. And so they're giving and receiving equally. It's the perfect example of the electromagnetic spectrum. So it's like this perfect natural giving and receiving. As humans, as human beings on this planet, we have that as our base duality. And it's played out in so many different ways according to our resistance patterns. So you often hear people like refer to people as givers and takers. Now, one of the things that I realized very, very early in life, is that I came into this this body with the with this feeling, this purpose as to give. It was like for me to give, and I was out of balance in the giving and receiving most of my life, and I had to look at many topics, many attachments, like the attachment of I must serve. You know, in body electronics, we all go through that when we're working, or it's on the other side of the duality. If we attach ourselves to I must receive, you know, I must receive in order to feel fulfilled or supported or whatever it is. You know, we each have to go through that for ourselves. It's our own soul process that we have to unravel. You know, we each have that self responsibility to do that. The giving and receiving in perfect balance, as represented in the yin yang, is really natural. It's nature. It is even, you can go even further than nature. Nature is just this dimensional level of expression of the God force. So back, you know, if you go back into, you know, through nature and back even further, you will find the God force that is underlying all of it, of course. So that's the expansion. Let's see, you know, that's the bigger picture look at giving and receiving. So let's take that down into a little bit of a contraction and look at it individually. We must, in our process, in our daily work, in our internal work, we must really be honest with ourselves. That honesty is key here. The honesty of allowing the unconscious to surface so that it can be released. The patterns and programs that we have held, and we'll find those if we're looking for them in regards to giving and receiving. So discernment plays a huge role here. And as we move up the scale of emotions, as we are releasing and allowing the old programs, the old patterns to surface and be released, we will move up that scale of emotion, and we will see deeper and you know, deeper involvements, let's put it that way, deeper, how we have involved ourselves in deeper ways in this, you know, in this earth plane, and maybe even throughout the cosmos. So let's look at it in that expansion contraction. It's a beautiful way, just like the yin yang symbol represents that expansion contraction. We can really look at it deeply. On today's post, I have I've put on a little video that I mentioned a few days ago with a healer that I met in, I don't know if it was the late 80s or the early 90s, but somewhere in that vicinity. And he actually gifted me this piece of quartz that I have been wearing. I think I went for about 10 years and didn't take it off. Literally did not take it off. It was on a different chain, but yeah, and when that chain broke, that, you know, that changed it up a little bit. But literally, I have held this beautiful quartz very, very close to my heart ever since that time. So this healer's name was Jean Egidio. I used to call it Edigio, but anyway, you'll see the you know, the spelling and figure out the pronunciation. His energy on this planet was so beautiful. And you can see this kind of retro video that I shared. It's the only one that I can find out there. And there's also, I put a picture of his book that I looked it up on Amazon. It's actually still available in hardcover. Gene was an extraordinary, he was an extraordinary healer in the sense of his ability to give. He was so, and I was a young woman then, and I was so enthralled by his beautiful natural expression, and it came through. You know, I was in a group healing. I think there were 40 people, and we were all laying on cots, and he went randomly around the room to each one, and he saved me for last, you know, and we had some really, really, really beautiful moments together. And he encouraged me. I mean, just that one experience. I never saw Gene again. And just that one experience that man gave me literally changed the trajectory of my life. He gave me this confidence, this little boost, this little inspiration that I needed to be honoring myself in the healing journey. Not only healing myself, but then being willing to be seen and be willing to give. So that's the circle. That's the circle that you see there in the yin yang. It's that sphere that is the container of the giving and receiving. Like I said earlier, we can look at it even electrically, you know, the electromagnetic spectrum. It you know, it comes down to that. So let's look personally. Let's meditate on that and look personally at where we are on that giving and receiving. Discernment to give and discernment to receive is required. And like I said earlier, the higher we go on the upscale in the scale of emotions, the more discernment is required. The higher we get to enthusiasm, the closer we get to enthusiasm, the more discernment is required in this third dimensional realm. It becomes natural, but there are some patterns that we have to break along the way. So I guess that's all I really want to get across there. Each of us has, you know, our own personal responsibility for that. So let's look at nature, look at the God force behind nature that supports nature. I put a short video there, a guided meditation again. I think I did it earlier, but I posted it again because I did mention it yesterday on the unity meditation, where we are giving and receiving love to the earth and to the center and the core of the earth, the spirit of earth, and the giving and receiving to the center of the sun, and then allowing those to come together within us, within our pranic tube, and then watch. If we do not have any emotional blocks, that energy, that natural energy, will flow from the sun through us as a conduit into the center of the earth, and vice versa. And then that energy will flow, that natural energy, that nature's giving and receiving. Okay, I'll leave it there. Thank you very much. And tomorrow we'll go into another sort of side, like a side topic to giving and receiving. And the focus tomorrow is going to be on generosity of spirit, represented by the buffalo in Native Ojibwe and Lakota and many, many other tribal teachings of the indigenous people of Turtle Island. So we'll talk about that a little bit tomorrow, and we'll see you then. Thank you very much.